Great. Now let's run through the various business verticals of this company, TILS, so that we get a better appreciation about the kind of competence and capability spectrums that this company has been able to generate and develop and utilize in the form of solutions which it offers to companies and businesses across the globe. And it seems to have taken certain continents, entirely by force, given the weightage, given the quality of its solutioning capabilities. As you can see, these three verticals, which encompass the entire existentialist spectrum of this company, are listed out here. You can take a look at your screens. Even the names for these various verticals are very interesting. Let's start off with the first one, which is discovery and insight deployment. Interesting. Second is implementation and disruption management. And the third goes like proposition projection and strategy. Have you ever come across such names for verticals? I have not. I never did. But yes, this is interesting. This opens up new possibilities for naming verticals across the board because this makes them sound, what do I say, rarefied, exotic, not definitely run of the mill, special. Yeah. So discovery and insight deployment. So this name in itself gives us a brief insight into what we can expect coming, happening, or brewing up in this vertical. So it's going to be solutions which help in the discovery and insight deployment. Fine. And the second one is implementation and disruption management. So you're implementing something. I don't know what. We're going to be talking about that later. Fine. And disruption management. So obviously, if there is disruption in your landscape, in your competitive landscape, in your functional landscape, this is going to be one hell of a solutioning spectrum out there, which is going to help you manage that. Fine. And proposition projection. So there are propositions which are projected and strategies which are projected, fine, as well as proposed. So let's try and see what they have in the kitty for the first vertical. So you can see there's a list of, I think, some around 6 odd capability spectrums out here. The first one is competitive intelligence. Now, who doesn't want it? So what this company basically does is to map companies across the globe, across various spectrums, industries, functions, domains, geos, idiosyncrasies, and they map them across the board, top to bottom, inside out, A to Z, fine. So whenever you as a company approach them for a competitive intelligence scenario or a competitive intelligence report or a constant feed of competitive intelligence, they are able to provide you that. And then opportunity identification. Since they're totally in sync with how companies operate across the globe, they're totally in sync about their various strengths and weaknesses, their competencies, their loopholes, they can identify opportunities for you as a business. Okay, fine, this is an opportunity in this space which you can utilize. I mean, there's not much of a logjam out there, and you could have a pretty heavy duty revenue generation scenario out there. The third complement of capabilities is technology scouting and monitoring. The name explains it all. They scout for technologies, they look out for technologies, they're always on the pry for new technologies. Fine. So basically, they're mapping the technological landscapes globally. They're monitoring them, they're mapping them, and then they maneuver and manipulate them in the form of solutions which they offer to various companies. And then, of course, foresight and horizon planning. So a company which has all these capabilities is surely going to be a great bet when it comes to providing you with foresight and horizon plan. So if you have anything to do with technology, if you have anything to do with industrial landscapes globally, if you have anything to do with setting up businesses globally, this is the company for you to go to. Especially if you want foresight and horizon planning, you want to be planning for the future, fine, or you want to be setting up new scenarios altogether. And then, of course, interestingly, it does market assessment, which is a form of market research. It does market assessment, even though out here it's more technocentric rather than a comprehensive market assessment, because this is a technology company, fine. This is basically the first set of competencies, the first block of competence spectrums out here under the discovery and insight deployment vertical. Now, all these verticals are tech driven, driven by excellence. They're driven by technology. They're fueled by innovation. As you can see for yourself, you have technology everywhere out there. across the first, the second, the third vertical, it's all about technology. It's all about solutions driven by technology. They are at the cutting edge. Some would say bleeding edge, but I find that a bit odd. So let's stick around with cutting edge, fine, technology. And then you have implementation and disruption management. So what do they have out there? They do technology due diligence. Just as you do market due diligence, you do financial due diligence, they do technology due diligence. Why? Because this is a collateral, a parallel stream of all these things out here. If you're doing competitive intelligence, if you're doing opportunity identification, if you're doing technology scouting and monitoring, you're better, off doing technology due diligence, because this is a walk in the park for you. And then you're doing technology commercialization. But this is very important. This is a huge revenue generator for the company to be able to go for technology commercialization. They come up with solutions for you in foresight and horizon planning. They do market assessment for you. They do technology scouting and monitoring for you, opportunity identification for you. And in all those spaces, they go for this technology commercialization too. And then technology implementation. If they've scouted a technological landscape for you, if they've identified the technological input for you, if they've mapped the kind of technologies that you need in your company, they're going to be doing the implementation too. So it's basically a turnkey kind of a situation for them. They go for the scouting, they go for the identification, they go for the assessment. Fine. They go for the due diligence, they commercialize it, they sell it to you, and then they implement it too. And then we have technology adoption. Now, most of the times, companies are very wary of all the pros and cons of new technological development, mostly untried ones and untested ones, or ones which have not been tested or sort of market proven, which are not exactly market hard, but may turn out to be so in the coming few years. But they don't want to be taking the risk, because all this calls for some massive investments. And if things go wrong, things could turn topsy-turvy overnight, and that would be a disaster of being scripted with due intentions. Fine. So this company makes sure that it helps you adopt technology. It takes care of the pros and cons. It maps everything for you. It makes sure, it guarantees you that, okay, fine, this is the kind of a technological adaptation going for. So this is how they do it. And then technology adaptation. One is adoption, the other is adaptation. Look at the differences. Some other company would have probably clubbed both of them. They've drawn a fine line between adoption and adaptation. Adoption is that you do not have it till this point of time. Post adoption, you have to adapt culture, your infrastructure, your talent quorum, your vision, your mission, your operating landscape to a particular set of technologies or a technology. Fine. So they help you in the adaptation also. So as I said, it's a full service scenario. It starts from A, and if you want it, it can end at Z, and then it can go for a robust re-engineering also. So this is for the implementation and the disruption management, obviously. And the third one is, as I said earlier, proposition, projection, and strategy. They offer sustainability solutions. Now, what exactly could that mean? Businesses need to be able to run through the S4 lifecycle management scenario, which is, basically run across all the companies. Fine. So you basically have survival, you have sustenance, you have success, and you have surplus. Fine. So basically they help you move on from the sustainability quorum to the success quorum. You may have survived, you may just about be sustaining yourself. Now, the next stage for you is to go for success, and then you can have surplus, and then you can expand and grow, and you can be profitable. Look at Amazon, such a huge conglomerate. 3 or 4 years back, it was not even breaking even. You started making some profits, obviously. So generating revenues is not akin to making profits. Fine, a company may be generating some massive revenues, but it may be spending an equal amount of money in running its operations. So it's not exactly profitable. It may be a huge conglomerate. It may be a mega cap or a super cap, but it may not be profitable. That was exactly the case with Amazon till a few years back. They just broke even, I think, 4 years back. So this company helps you go for sustainability paradigms. And if the need arises, it can go for your partner identification and merger and acquisition scenario. It can, if you are at a stage in your evolutionary landscape where you think that you cannot sustain your existence, because this is a VUCA environment. I've been talking about it for quite some time now. This is an environment of volatility, of uncertainty, of confusion, of ambiguity. especially nowadays as I'm talking to you. I mean, some years back, I think some 40 or 50 years back, the average lifespan of a Fortune 500 company used to be somewhere around 40 to 50 odd years. Nowadays, it's predicted to be somewhere around 12 to 15 years. 12 to 15 years, a Fortune 500 company. Gosh. Fine. So this is how things have changed over time. Fine. And if you look at the kind of evolution in business models across the years, I mean, look at some of the biggest companies, Airbnb, Facebook. Look at all these companies. What are they doing? What kind of an infrastructure do they have? What kind of manufacturing facilities do they have? What kind of investments in infrastructure do they have? Nothing. A couple of years back, about a decade or two back, you used to have the biggest manufacturing giants like GE, like GM, like Boeing. Ruling the roost, you used to have oil and gas companies like British Petroleum, fine, ExxonMobil. You used to have Shell leading the pack. Nowadays, who's leading the pack? It's Facebook, it's Microsoft, it's Google, it's Amazon, who happen to be the richest people on this globe. Bill Gates, the Amazon chief, Zuckerberg. So this is the need of the hour nowadays. So if you think that you need a partner, you need to partner up, you need to merge, or you need to go for an acquisition, this is the company which may offer you sustainability solutions. It may offer you partner identification and merger and acquisition strategies. It may go for your entire strategy development. And if you want disruption to be monitored within your industry or within your company or within a larger business landscape, I mean, this can come up with a huge quorum of disruption monitoring solutions for you. And then, of course, again, we have technology out here. So if you want any kind of a technology, market, and business model evaluation, it can do it for you. So all these solutions revolve around a couple of things, as was listed in the mission statement and the vision statement. This is all about technology. This is all about business landscapes. Fine. It's all about market DNAs. It's all about various economic systems. It's all about corporate evolution, business evolution. It's all about making businesses better with the ultimate goal of creating a pro-human world. So this justifies everything. I mean, this looks like a dream job to me, honestly. I mean, this kind of company is basically a role model for many companies out there. This is the kind of a company that you would probably give a right arm for, to work for such a company or to lead such a company. Fine. So it's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful environment that we're talking about as of now. So you can see everything is in sync with the vision and mission statement. We talked about IRIC mileposts. Now we're talking about the verticals. You've got to understand what it is. So now is the time for you to really think back about this company. Just take a short break probably and think about what this company is all about. Just visualize what this company can look like. Look at its solutions. Look at what it does. Look at its performance. Look at its IRIC mileposts. Look at its vision and mission statement. So what do you think is missing? What do you think is lacking? What do you think needs to be done? If you're an academician, if you're a management student, if you are somebody who's interested in market research, or if you're just, somebody who is interested in this case study, fine. Just take a look at, try to understand what exactly prompted this company to go for what it's going for in this case study, what we're going to be discussing now. I think we are now primed, we are not ready. We are not going to be focused on the actual case study per se, when we talk about the objective. Fine. This was building the ground for you. This was building your understanding, because I wanted to make sure that you understand in totality what this business entity is all about. And now you'll be pretty well equipped. You will be excellently equipped and aligned towards your understanding of this market research case study. Now you're ready to go for it. And I'm pretty sure that you're enjoying it as of now. So we'll be talking about the objective in the coming slide. Thank you.